are Teatro Luna, which is Chicago's pan-Latino theater company, and we are the only all-Latino theater company in the United States producing a full season of new and original work. A lot of the work that we do is collaborative, is interview-based, and we also have recently started doing some single author work, including Your Problem with Men, which is at stage 773 that Cruz is in. If you're interested, come see us for a couple more weeks. And right now we're going to be doing some excerpts from In the Time of the Butterflies by Caridad Spitch. It is only fragments of the play. You will not see Patria. You will just see Dede, Minerva, and Maria Teresa, just because we have 3 actresses. And additionally, some people will be playing different roles. We'll be reading the stage directions, etc. And we just tried our best to try to make a through line for you, and hopefully it will all make sense. Great, thank you. In the Time of the Butterflies, a new play by Caridad Spitch, based on the novel by Julia Alvarez. The author's Spanish-language version of this text premiered at Repertorio Español NYC in February 2011 under Jose Zayas's direction. This English language version is being produced right now, and this is our first stage the first stage adaptation of this novel in its history.
So figures: Adele, Dede, older, guardian of memory in the suspended present; Dede, younger, in the past, from the ages of 23 to 35; Minerva, her sister, La Mariposa, from the ages of 12 to 34; Patria, her older sister, from the ages of 22 to 36; Maria Teresa, Mate, her younger sister, from the ages of 10 to 25; American Woman, a fiction writer of Dominican descent from New York; and DJ, a fluid DJ of the airways in present and past time, who plays Generalissimo el Jefe, el Chivo, the Goat Trujillo, dictator of the Dominican Republic from 1930 to 1961, Vigilio Morales, revolutionary, friend of Minerva and Dede, and Rufino de la Cruz, the Mirabel's driver the day they died.
Historical note. Patria Mercedes Mirabal, born 1924, Maria Argentina Minerva Mirabal, born 1926, and Antonia Maria Teresa Mate Mirabal, born 1935, were political dissidents who opposed the dictatorship of Rafael Trujillo. They were part of the movement of the 14th of June. Their code name was the Butterflies, Las Mariposas. Minerva and Maria Teresa Mirabal were imprisoned and tortured. While in prison, they were constantly raped. 3 of the sisters' husbands were incarcerated at La Victoria Penitentiary in Santo Domingo. On November 26, 1960, Trujillo sent men to intercept the 3 women after they visited their husbands in prison. The unarmed sisters were led into a sugarcane field and executed along with their driver, Rufino de la Cruz. Dede Mirabal, who was not on the trip with her sister that day in November, was not assassinated and has lived to tell the stories of her family and preserves her sister's memory through the Museo Hermanas Mirabal. On December 17, 1999, the United Nations General Assembly designated November 25, as we already know, the anniversary of the day of the murder of the Mirabal sisters, as the annual day for the International Day of the Elimination of Violence Against Women in commemoration of the sisters. This day also marks the beginning of 16 days of activism against gender violence. The end of the 16 days is December 10th, International Human Rights Day.
Scene 2. Time shifts to the suspended present. Dede, older, is in the garden.
Sometimes I can remember what's real and what isn't. Did we always play like that? Or is it only what I imagine?
American Woman comes into view. Would you like a coffee?
Oh no, I'm fine, thanks. It's good of you to make time to see me.
Oh, I just love people who write. Everything that has to do with making up stories and doing humanity a bit of good just fascinates me.
Yes, well, that's not the same as
Telling our story?
if I'm going to tell it.
Look, you're here. As if you were in your home. You know that. Anything I can do.
Thank you, Doña Dede. Honestly, to be here in this garden, see this house, your sister's museum, I never thought. Forgive me for getting emotional.
Ay, por favor. Sometimes emotions are all we have. Some days we're just pure emotion. We walk around as if we were live wires.
Especially here.
Absolutely. The Dominican Republic is like an island of emotions. Emotions and contradictions. We may like many things, but in that, no one can beat us.
How am I going to be able to write everything?
A bit at a time, right? After all, to be able to tell a story is a privilege. How many people would love to be able to put down on paper everything that happened? Look at me. Every year people come. Every November, I speak once again about the tragedy.
It must be...
No, never. It's important for me to keep their memories alive. Patria, Minerva, Maria Teresa, they're still here in the blood of this country. Years go by, people don't remember what it was like when Trujillo was in power. There's an entire generation that... You're Dominican, you say?
Well, yes, but...
From the United States.
I remember when my parents first sent me here when I was a little girl. They wanted me to get to know my cousins and the rest of my family. I didn't understand anything. Everything was so slow, like much slower than in the States. Waiting in line at the airport, driving from the airport to the city, I kept saying, when are we going to get there? And my cousins would laugh, chill out, cuz, we'll get there, tranquila. And they turn up the bachata and keep drinking their red cola, and I think, what am I doing here? But then, after a week, I didn't want to leave. And I thought, there's a part of me here, a part of me I've never known.
How many times have you been back?
Since then? Several times. Every time I come back, I have the same feeling I did when I was a child.
What, a slow country?
It takes a while to get used to. Just driving around, roads without signs.
Minerva thought about going to the United States once.
Really?
She had a crazy dream. Or maybe I was the one who had the crazy dream. Like I said, so much of the past gets mixed up with what we wanted, what our friends said, what we wrote in our diaries.
Scene 3, Minerva's diary. Day, 1938. 12-year-old Minerva walks through the garden, diary in hand. She stops and writes. She wears a Catholic schoolgirl uniform. Projection of the handwritten date, 1938, is seen while she says,
1938. Dear Diary, I'm here in Catholic school where Mom and Dad have sent me. The butterflies dance in the air, like the ones back home in our garden. But here they don't have as much space to fly. Their wings get caught between the little bars of the windows. They collide against the church bells in the chapel, and they hide at the back end of the garden where all the wildflowers grow.
Projection, butterfly wings struggling to fly through bars of windows.
I feel them all around me. I want to dance with them, but the nuns won't let me.
Projection, image of a nun in the distance, as if this were a photograph blurred by memory.
They say I have to be obedient, conscientious. Those words make me crazy. Well, not because I'm not. I'm proud of being a good student and an honorable person, but Epa, it's such a beautiful day. Why shouldn't I delight in the sun and the butterflies?
Projection, portrait of her friend Sinita Peroso, age 12, faded by time.
I just met a very serious girl. Well, her name is Sinita Peroso. The other girls laugh at her because she doesn't have any money. I hate that they treat her like that. It's not fair. One day they'll all see, when I'm a lawyer, I'll do everything in my power so that no one's treated like that. You know what Sinita says? That when Trujillo was in the army,
Projection, documentary photograph of young Trujillo.
He did everything he could so that everyone there was in his way would disappear. Assassinated under the cold light of the moon.
Projection, image of the moon as if drawn by hand by a child on construction paper.
Like something out of a novel, right? At first, I didn't want to believe Sinita, not because I doubted her, but because here Trujillo's like a god. Sinita says, you'll see, Minerva, you'll see. And it's true because little by little, I do.
Projection, in Minerva's mind, slowly the garden grows. At first, resplendently, joyously, and then a shudder. As the trees turn into giants, flowers tremble, and the butterflies smash their wings against the little bars of the school's windows. The butterflies' wings, blue, green, orange, fall to the earth like drops of rain. It is an eerie vision Minerva has of the future.
Scene 4. Time shifts to the present. American woman is seated. Dede, older, walks in with a plate of dulce de coco and sets it on a small table.
Minerva could see it all. And when she put her mind to something, there wasn't anyone that could stop her. First with that girl Sinita, and then all the rest. She was right. Trujillo was a son of a bitch. I can say it now that I'm old. I can say whatever I want. I used to tell her, write whatever you want in your diary, but what happens if one of these days somebody discovers what you're up to? You're playing with fire. The other day, a little boy stopped to ask me about my sisters. He wanted to know what it was like back then in the 1940s. He made it sound like ancient times, like the 1800s or something, when there were horse-drawn carriages and people and mules and the like. I suppose that for him it is. After all, the world now is at the touch of a key on the computer. I think, what do my sisters mean to him? Patriotic figures, brave women on a commemorative stamp, people in all dresses in a history book.
I don't think he thinks that.
You know what he said to me? Why didn't they kill you too that day in November?
He didn't.
It was merely a question. Well, a rather mature one for a little boy to ask, but he asked it with absolute innocence, without knowing what he was really asking. I looked at him for a moment in thought, and after a while I said, look, child, I'm alive because someone had to tell our story. Want a dulce de coco?
Oh, I'm on a diet.
Oh, the American women are always on a diet. They're constantly starving themselves, and for what? There are people in the world who are really starving. And all of you obsessing about your weight and your figure and obtaining a perfect image, when are you going to enjoy life?
I don't know.
You come all this way, spend all this time, and you won't even have a little.
Está bien, está bien. Maybe just one.
American woman eats the coconut candy. Dede looks at her a moment.
You remind me of her.
Who?
Minerva.
I'm not.
You write things into being.
What?
You write so that people will learn the truth and find a way to change the world.
I just write little things, short stories.
Is that right? Why are you here then?
Sorry?
I tell our story every day, ever since the day of the accident.
But it wasn't.
I know. But that's the way, the word they used. The Mirabal sisters suffered an accident. That was the story the bastards in power wanted to tell. But soon the real story came out. And it had to be told, so that people will know exactly what happened. You also write so that people will remember what happened. If not, why write at all? Eat your dulce de coco, mujer. Take in the sun. We'll sit out here together and look at the butterflies as they dance amongst the trees.
Dominican music is heard softly, a song from the 1940s. In the distance, in the garden, 10-year-old Maria Teresa is seen dancing.
It's so beautiful here.
Beautiful, but crazy. That's what Minerva used to say. Everything here is a kind of madness disguised as serenity.
What kind of dulce de coco is this?
You like it?
It doesn't taste like the kind they sell in the States.
It's a secret recipe. Maria Teresa's recipe. Scene 5. Maria Teresa's diary. Day 1945. Maria Teresa, age 10, writes and draws in her diary. Projection. Handwritten date 1945 as she speaks.
1945. Dear Diary, a cup of coconut,
Projection of a drawing of a cup.
a sprinkle of walnuts, a large tablespoon of dulce de leche,
Projection of a drawing of a large spoon.
a tiny bit of rum. This is a recipe my Aunt Flor gave me. Don't show it to anybody, it's our secret. I mean it. If Minerva sees it, she'll copy me. She loves to copy me. Like that dress, remember? The one I saw in the window?
Projection of a drawing of a party dress.
I saw it first, but Minerva bought it to go out with Leo Morales. I think she's in love with him. I saw them the other day. They were talking about I don't know what on the other side of the garden, and they used big words, super smart ones. Minerva says that Leo helps her with her homework, but they almost kiss. I don't know what kind of homework that is.
Projection of a drawing of a young woman wearing trousers and a beret.
This is Hilda. She's one of Minerva's friends. She's weird. She always wears pants and a beret. Hilda has secret meetings in her house. She's plotting against Trujillo. I'm scared. Minerva says it's important to write things in a diary so that our secrets will always be safe and guarded in a sacred place.
19-year-old Minerva enters from within. Maria Teresa hides the diary.
Getting some sun?
A little. It's nice out.
Nice light for writing.
I don't have anything to write.
Oh, swear.
Don't be a pest.
I'm just asking, that's all.
Minerva hums a bolero to herself in thought.
What are you singing?
Song that came into my head.
Who for?
Are you gonna start with that?
I'm just asking, that's all.
Just because I was singing doesn't mean anything. Besides, you're too young for those kinds of questions.
I already did my first communion. I'm a grown-up.
When you're 15, we can talk.
I know more than you think.
About what?
Secret meetings.
Are you spying on me?
I'm not the one going around here and there with Hilda.
What is Hilda to you?
She's gonna get you in trouble.
Mate, are you writing little things about Hilda in your diary?
Listen, it's not my fault that Hilda's stupid uncle refuses to hang a picture of Trujillo on the wall.
No. We have a picture of, he has his reasons. His decision should be respected.
We have a picture of Trujillo on the wall. You spent all that time with Hilda in those stupid meetings, and the guards come around my school.
Did you tell them anything?
Why would anyone ask me anything?
Well, someone said something.
Huh?
They took her.
Who?
Who do you think? Hilda. The police took her away.
Why didn't you say anything?
Because I don't want to bother everyone in the whole house. Sometimes you have to hide. Sometimes you have to get rid of everything.
What are you talking about?
If the guards come, if the guards read anything.
I haven't written anything.
If there's something about Hilda somewhere, the police will take me away. Understand? They'll take all of us away.
Liar.
You think you can play with the police? They'll take me. Dede, Patria, Mom, Dad.
Here.
Retrieves hidden diary.
You told me I could write whatever I wanted in my diary.
About Hilda?
I don't want them to take you away. I don't want them to take you away.
There, don't get upset.
I was just writing little things, little thoughts. I don't want to get rid of my diary. He's my best friend.
What do you mean your best friend?
I didn't write anything bad.
I know. Look, we'll put all my papers in your diary in a little box, and we'll bury it in a secret place. And somewhere, only you and I will know about.
How do you know they'll be safe?
I'll make sure. Don't worry.
The sisters walk away. Projection. Drawings from Maria Teresa's diary leave their memory traces in the garden. Lines and shapes turn into dresses, buried upside down in the earth, in between veins of blood.
Scene 13. Shift to the present. Dede, older, and the American woman in the garden.
She wouldn't stop apologizing that night. A night of tears, and then years and years of how I've retraced in my mind. Because the truth is a piece of paper floating in the air, in ink stains vanishing in the wind. What truth guides my actions? Now? Then? A truth no one can write down because, in the end, it's unknowable.
Sometimes my mom says, we never know one another, no matter how much time passes.
Sounds like a smart woman.
She is. But I think she gets scared sometimes about the things I have to write, the truths of the world.
And whether you can face them?
And make them live inside of me.
This story I write because it lives inside of me.
What's that?
Something Minerva once wrote in her diary.
Minerva is seen. She speaks across time to the American woman and to Dede, older.
This story I write because it lives inside of me. The night after the party, Dad sent his apologies to El Jefe. But El Jefe wanted more.
The guards came to the house. They asked Dad to come with them.
The guards came to the house. We screamed.
They closed the door and took Dad away.
Days went by.
Every day I tried to appeal Dad's case to whomever I could, but I'd get the same answer every time.
You know what you need to do to get your dad out of jail, they said.
Trujillo requested that I go to the capital.
He made her wait 3 weeks.
3 weeks, until finally, El Jefe showed his face.
Our lives were to be governed by a roll of his dice. Scene 15. In suspended time, American woman speaks to and with Minerva in the act of writing, in the intimacy of imagination.
You played your life with every roll of the dice, while the goat looked at your leg.
Let him look. Let him get distracted.
1, 4, 14.
Everything's in my hands.
Everything rises to the surface.
Something had started between us that neither of us could ever stop. Here, we play to the death.
1, 4,
8.
You beat El Jefe.
A miracle.
Projection. Image of an empty suit resting in a coffin.
Our father was released from jail.
He was so weak, so ill. I barely recognized him.
He died a few weeks later. People don't know what they really have until it's gone. And then they cry.
Dad could barely speak when he got out of jail. He didn't know where he was. Sometimes I think it's best not to think of anything.
Scene 18. Continuous scene, 1957. Maria Teresa is sitting on the box. Minerva, 31, walks in.
What are you doing?
Some guy came by, asked me if I was the Mariposa's little sister.
We have to get this box out of sight.
Am I the Mariposa's little sister?
How much did he tell you?
He asked me if I was one of us.
And what did he say?
I mean, I didn't say anything, but he was handsome, and I think, yes, I am one of the Mariposas.
With your silliness, girl. This is serious.
But he was handsome.
Must have been Palomino that came by then.
Palomino? Palomino, I love his name.
It's not his real name.
What's his real name, then?
Shh.
Nobody's listening, mujer. What is it? What's all this? What does it mean to be a butterfly?
It's a code name. We all have one.
I will. I want a code name, too. Why not? I want to help.
Help what?
Kill El Jefe.
What do you know about any of this?
I know more than you think.
Is that so? Some cute guy comes by and all of a sudden you want to be part of the cause?
It's not just because of some guy. Patria, Dede, what are they doing with their lives?
They're fine.
Patria got married 16 years ago, and what?
She has a family.
And Dede lets Jaime run everything. What they do and spend. Look, Palomino is handsome, but that's not the reason why I want to do something. I don't want to sit around and let people do things for me. I want to change this country.
Well, we're talking about guns. Explosives. This is not a game, eh?
I can handle it.
And you can't let anyone know. Understand? When we plan things, when we carry out an order...
I know how to keep a secret. I'm your sister, remember?
Okay.
Yeah?
But if you get scared...
I'm not afraid of anything.
Mate de hero, eh?
That's right.
Since when?
Since always. You just never noticed. Besides, if you get scared, we can be scared together, right?
Help me with this.
They lift the box together.
You're right.
What?
Palomino sure is handsome.
They carry the box out. Scene 21, 1960. Mate and Minerva are in prison in the town of La Victoria.
Dark.
They keep us in the...
And then suddenly,
lights.
there are 24 women.
Their voices pierce the...
Some like us.
Some criminals.
Like us.
I don't want to think.
Look out the window.
Try to glean what's...
Outside.
Rain sometimes.
Hot, muddy.
Like the dance that day when...
And then screams.
From some other... Another building.
Another building where there's a room known as La Cuarenta.
Where they torture.
Please, no.
Be strong. Mate?
Will they take you today?
How many questions?
Try not to think.
Don't answer.
And if the guard?
The guard, the turtle wants...
We won't give.
If the turtle wants... Fuck the turtle.
Give him sweets.
Don't cry.
And I
pray.
Prayers are not
I
allowed.
call to God.
Silence.
In a room with no sound. Days and days.
I draw in a diary. The diary in my mind.
Projection. Drawing of the jail cell.
1960. From here to here, 4 steps.
Projection. Drawing of a line.
From here to here, a hole to shit in.
Projection. Drawings of a circle in the ground.
From here to here, a wall.
Projection. Drawing of a wall.
From here to here,
A blank page. A moment. They are interrupted by a metallic sound. Shiver. Silence.
Can't hear you.
right here.
Tell me the story about the cute boys and their amazing smiles.
Don't remember.
Red shoes and vanidades.
Don't remember.
when.
Don't sleep.
This was when.
I'm stripped.
Can't remember.
I won't say anything, not even if
They tie me down.
I'll let electricity run through.
Mate. Mate.
Projection. Word cross out. Mate. Song is heard, faintly, sung by the women in prison.
Muévete, mi niña, muévete. Muévete al despertar. Muévete, mi niña, muévete.
A moment. Across time, Minerva and Mate look at Dede, who is seeing through and out of the sound of the voices of the women.
Scene 22. Time shifts to the present.
Look out the window. That was all I could do.
My mother says that that's when I spent most of my childhood doing. Looking out of a window, imagining what life was like.
Writers look through windows?
For a writer, the world's a window. I mean, when I write, I look out and I try to imagine
What they went through.
what everyone, even the furthest away.
At the time, I felt that what was being an American was like someone looking out of a window, trying to see what could be possible, imagining faraway lands.
And watching the country.
Move this way and that, while the goat held fast, ferocious, desgraciado. Poor Patria.
In the past, Patria is seen with her sewing basket.
The months Mate and Minerva were in jail, all she did was pray and prayed and try to find a way to get my sisters out of there. She sent them little notes inside packages of candy and food. She asked anyone she could for help, both of us, waiting and waiting, until finally the Organization of American States sent inspectors to the prison. And Mate was able to tell them what she'd been through and what other women in La Cuarenta. If the OIS had gotten there at the beginning, Mate and Minerva and many others would have suffered much, much less. But the OIS and its investigation had a result, and yes, they were released. El Jefe, you see, couldn't bear a scandal. He wanted to be on good terms with the CIA and your country. It wasn't good business to have America against him, not for him or anybody. But even with their release, they were imprisoned.
In what sense?
They were under house arrest, couldn't go anywhere. There was always someone watching, and their husbands still in prison. There will be no salvation for them.
My parents say that when Mate and Minerva were put in prison, they couldn't stop thinking about them, and that all the people suffering in their country. Friends would gather at the apartment, all these Dominicans exiled in New York. People in exile always find a way to communicate with each other. And well, they'd stay up for hours and hours trying to solve the problem of their country from afar. And they talked about the Trujillo and your sisters, and I'd sit in my room listening and looking.
Through your window.
Exactly.
None of us can imagine what they went through. Witnesses. We're witnesses of history, truth, stories, memories, but that's all. We're in one piece. We pinch ourselves with a rose in the garden and we want to scream. Imagine what they went through. When El Jefe dug his claws into this earth, he sunk them in all the way. All the way. 31 years, 31 long, wretched years in powers, and what did I do? All that time.
You were a good sister.
Final scene. Scene 26. Time shifts to the present.
And then silence. And 4 pine boxes are put in a car and buried in the earth. A necklace, a shoe, a red patent leather strap, an earring. What are we left with?
Listening, writing, and listening once again. I came here to find a story.
I tell our story, you tell yours.
When I go back to New York, I'll face the blank page.
And then
We'll see.
it's all inside us, child. Everything.
What's that?
Hmm?
Like a strange light. Patria, Minerva, Maria Teresa. They're here.
They're always here. they're always alive in the garden.
End of play.